G'day, Chief. Welcome to the Inner Chief podcast and this special episode, which we call the Mini Chief. These are short, sharp highlights from our fabulous CEO guests, where you get a 5 to 10 minute snapshot of the highlights from their episode. Righto, Chief. Without further ado, here is the Mini Chief episode for this week with Roland Frasier, CEO of All Channels Media. I've heard you describe how you've bought businesses for no money down, and I think that will get some people in the head. How the hell do you do that? Can you give a quick example of how you might do that so people can comprehend it?
Yeah, it's so it is truly just a mindset thing, because the way that you do it is you make that offer, and we're doing actually a few of those deals right now. I'll give you a few examples. Now, if you have absolutely nothing to offer, then it's harder. If you have no picture that you can paint of that they're better to sell you an interest in their business or all of their business for no money down, then it's more difficult. But I will tell you, I was trying to think of a really great example, and I'll think of rather than using me, I'll use someone who had no real reputation, no real connections, and no real experience doing this that I coached through it. And it was a gentleman who was interested in buying a wholesale concrete business. And this was the manufacturer of this kind of cool type of concrete. And so my friend was interested in acquiring that company, but didn't have the money to do it. It was doing about $2.5–3 million a year. It was profitable at about $150,000 to $200,000 a year profit, so in the neighborhood of 8 to 10% profit. And he didn't have any money or know anything other than he'd been talking to the owner, and the owner was interested in selling, and he was interested in buying, and the owner was only selling through print ads in magazines. So like old school, right? Print ads in magazines, and was selling direct to customers. So had never sold directly to wholesalers, and had never sold online. So it was really kind of an interesting opportunity, and had inquiries before, but it was like, nah, I don't know how all that internet stuff works, and I don't want to hassle with other people who are reselling, so I just want to sell to the customers. And he said, but I'm thinking I've got this other thing that I want to do. I've invented something else that I'm really interested in. Now, so one of the biggest, coolest things is when you find someone who's already in their mind sold their business. Like they're done. They're even if it's a good business, a truly creative entrepreneur frequently is tired of the business they're in and looking to the next business that they can be in. So that's a really positive sign. And I said, well, the first thing that I always like to ask people is, what are you going to do with the money? And he's like, why? And I was, because he's like, he's going to tell me it's none of my business. I said, no, it's actually 100% about your business, because if you can figure out what he or she is going to do with the money, then you'll find out exactly how much they actually need right now. And he was like, okay. So he went and asked him, and the guy said, well, it's going to cost me about $200,000 to do the moldings for this new thing that I've invented. I was like, great. I said, and what are you going to do with the rest of the money? He said, oh, I'm just going to, I'll have it for, working capital or investments or whatever. I said, great. I said, so you should be able to buy that company for $200,000 down. And he said, okay, well, how? Because that's all the guy needs to do that. And if you can find out what the deal is on the moldings that he needs for this invention that he's got, and you can get him those without you having to come out of pocket $200,000, you can buy that business for no money down. So the thing that I always look for is, what are they going to do with the money? And then how much is it going to actually cost to do the next thing that they want to do? And if they just want to have money for investments, chances are really good they'll carry back. So they will finance the acquisition for you. So great. So now he's down to $200,000. And I said, okay, so you need $200,000 to do this. I said, he probably doesn't need $200,000 right now to do that. I said, ask him, what is the process with the people that he's talking about doing the moldings? And it turned out that he only needed like about 80 grand. I was like, great, you only need $80,000 now because the way that you pay for the moldings is this, and the business is actually making money. So let's let the business pay for everything except the actual cash dollars that he needs right now today. It was like, great. So he went back and talked to the guy, and the guy was like, I could, okay, I could do that. It's like, so you know that the money's going to come. You transfer the business to me. I will assign you the money that the business is making until you get that $200,000 that you need, and I'll secure the rest of the business with the stock in the business that I'm buying. Fantastic. Well, what we knew was that if we could get a small deferral period, then my friend could go out and go to all of the wholesalers who had already inquired about making wholesale purchases for the company and do deals with them to raise the $80,000 that he needed to put down. So all he needed to do was have a period of time where he could do that. So we negotiated a 60-day period where he would get to do that during the due diligence period for looking at the company, right? And so then he was able to raise the money, cut the deal to get advanced purchase orders from the people who were the wholesalers who had already asked and inquired. And then he went out and he did the deal with no money down. So that's a very abbreviated process of that. But that, like, it's just being creative enough to find out what do they actually want, what are they going to do the money with, and what are all of the pieces that are available to you right now to generate the money without having to come out of pocket. And to me, it's a game, right? I just don't, I like, when I have the money to buy a business, I don't want to pay anything down for it because I want the business to pay for itself. That's a fun game to play, right?
Chief, there you have it for this week with our mini Chief episode. To get all the links and resources, go to chiefmaker.com/333. And if you'd like to stay in touch with Chiefmaker, just go to chiefmaker.com/subscribe. Now, Chief, do you find yourself at work in one of those incredibly stressful moments where you've got someone on your team that either isn't performing or is behaving poorly, and you know deep down that it needs a difficult conversation? One of those ones that can keep you up at night. You know, if you get wrong, there's going to be HR issues, but you know, if you get right, it could actually be a little bit career defining, and it will make life so much better for so many people, but you just keep putting it off and off and off. Well, Chief, we've created the ultimate resource for you. It is called Difficult Conversations. Download, it's not hard, but what's in it is what's most powerful. The mindsets, the frameworks, and even some of the scripts, the words to use to make those conversations much more easy. Just go to chiefmaker.com/difficult and you could download the full resource right there. Righto, Chief. As always, remember to stay happy.